Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Assassin's Creed Syndicate video. The game is just under a month away now, October the 23rd, and in today's video I wanted to bring you guys some brand new gameplay. Well, the last time I brought you guys a video on this was way back at Gamescom, when I ran you through this mission that can be completed in like a number of different ways, so if you guys haven't seen that, then I'll actually drop links to those in the description box down below. Some really cool gameplay on that, so make sure you don't miss that one out. But this week, in fact no, last week I was very kindly invited by Ubisoft to this really cool event in London. It was actually set in a power plant. It basically looked like something out of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. We got to play a large chunk of Sequence 3 and also a large chunk of Sequence 7. So there's lots and lots of stuff to show you guys. So what I thought I'd do in this video is basically cut together some of the different things that I got up to in Sequence 3. You know, some of the different missions I did, some of the different sort of like enemies I fought, and some of the targets I had to assassinate. And then I'll also do a separate video for Sequence 7. So if you want to see that, then that'll be going up on the channel shortly after this video. Now, a couple of notes just to tell you guys in advance, this will be completely spoiler free. There won't be any cutscenes in this, there won't be any menus, and there won't be any hints to the story at all. So if you are a die-hard Assassin's Creed fan, then fear not, you can watch this without fear of spoilers. And if you guys do enjoy this video, then it would be super awesome if you could leave a like. Plus, let me know in the comments down below if you guys are super hyped for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and if you want to see more gameplay when the game comes out. So, first up, Sequence 3. What do we need to do? Well, basically, during the sequence, you can play as either Jacob or Evie. You can actually swap freely, which is really cool. You can, obviously, later on when you come to certain missions, they will require you play as certain people or, you know, certain characters. But for the time being, this one gave us quite a bit of freedom. Now, this one takes place in Whitechapel, and the idea being that we need to reclaim our hold over the city, or the kind of this sort of area of the city, and we then need to kind of try and start forming our own gang. So this is sort of like, or this kind of whole area is currently being controlled by this gang leader called Arekkz. He is just this big angry looking guy, and he runs the gang called the Blighters. So when you first spawn in at the beginning of Sequence 3, or at least kind of where we picked up, you'll see this map of Whitechapel again, which I can't show you at the moment because I can't show you menus, but you'll see this map which will basically give you like a little sort of like layout of Whitechapel, and you'll see that things are broken into different coloured sections. These are basically missions that I can do, and when I complete these different missions, I'll reclaim a sort of like hold over that portion of the city. So for this particular section, there were 4 things I had to do. You can do them in any order you want, but I basically just went for whichever one was nearest first. So the order I did them in was as follows. First up, I went off to rescue some children. There were basically some sort of like groups of children that were being made to work, you know, slave labour, that kind of thing. So the idea is that we had to go and set them free. Now, technically speaking, I probably should have stealthed this one. I will say in advance, if you're an Assassin's Creed player, I do love the Assassin's Creed series, but I am a little bit rusty because the last time I played Syndicate was Gamescom, so my stealth wasn't necessarily as good as it could have been. That being said, you do get a nice look at the combat. The combat in this is really, really cool. I really do like how it's improved in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, so it does work really well. So it's actually one of those things whereby you kind of want to sort of get in combat some of the time. It's so much fun that you don't actually mind if, say, you know, you get discovered or like you can't do something stealthily, because the combat is just a lot of fun to do. So that being said, at least you get to sort of see a different angle of the game. Also, that's kind of like my disclaimer for when you guys say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't stealth. Anyway, that being said, you basically sneak into the warehouse and have to go to sort of like different levels, free all the children, take out the guards, and then that is that area complete. You'll then look at the map and you'll see that the section that was previously covered in red now shows that you hold this area because you've basically sort of done something good, you've cleared out the threat, and that is now being controlled by you or the assassins. Then moving on from there, I then went on to an area where I had to go and kill all the Blighters in this particular zone. If you guys have played Assassin's Creed before, you'll be familiar with these kind of sort of missions whereby you go inside this sort of restricted area, and then there's a number of different targets in there, and once you take them all out, you basically claim hold over that area. So that's basically all I had to do here. Now again, whenever I enter these missions, I do always start by trying to be stealthy. Invariably something goes wrong and then I have to kind of adapt. But hey, that's the life of an assassin. You've got to learn to adapt. If things go wrong, you can't be like, oh no, I've got to go and run and hide in a bush. No, you got to make it work. Either way, you clear these guys out. These are the Blighters. Again, these are the guys that are working for Arekkz, so we need to make sure they are clear from there. And then once they're out, that area belongs to us. After that, we then worked our way into this sort of like market area where there was basically a target we had to locate, and we then had to identify him and then kill him using some dynamite that was very conveniently placed nearby. This one was a little bit tricky given where the target was, and given that there were a lot of guards around there that seem to have pretty sharp eyes. They do seem to sort of like see you quite a bit, so you do want to be really careful this time around in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Seems like the AI is definitely kind of stepped it up a notch. They do definitely see you a lot more, so if you are really trying to go for that stealthy approach, you really do need to be mindful of where you are, you know, and like be mindful of all the enemies around you. Anyway, that being said, once you've blown him up, that is that section complete, and we now own 3/4 of Whitechapel, or we kind of reclaimed our hold over 3/4 of Whitechapel. And then after that, we have to go and help a policeman in a rather unconventional manner, given that he is supposed to be upholding the law. We basically had to go and capture a criminal, by knocking him out, kidnapping him, and then delivering him to the policeman. Either way, that was still pretty cool. I actually tried to deliver him in the wrong way at first. I tried to sort of like carry him to the objective, but it turns out you need to put it inside like a horse cart, and you then drive it off. But really cool, and also really different missions. The one thing that's really cool about this is that the 4 different missions that we had to do, none of them felt like we were doing the same thing. You know, they were all kind of completely varied, completely different, and really fun in their own way. Once that was all done, it's then gang warfare time. You would then see the map, and it would basically be that we had like a completely open hold over it. All the red would then be like relinquished, and there would basically be this sort of like gang sign that would indicate we had to go and have like a gang fight with Rexford Kaylock. He basically challenged us to it because he'd obviously seen what we've been doing in the city, and he was like, you know what, let's fight it out. And this is the really cool bit. You actually get to have a fight with him on his train. You run to the station where you were originally going to fight him, and then there's like a load of different people there, so you know, your gang fights their gang, you help them out for a bit, and then Rexford Kaylock tries to sort of make a getaway on his train, you jump on the back, and you have a really cool fight. This is like one of those sort of things you see in the movies, where you're basically fighting all the people on the train, you can kick them off the side of it, loads of cool things like that, and you get to Kaylock himself, and it's then a fight to the death. And once that's done, well, he doesn't need his train anymore, so we might as well have it. And now becomes sort of like a mobile base, which you can then sit in, you know, do some of your things. You can look at the map, you can, you know, collect your money from things like that, and it basically becomes your mobile base of operations for the next part of the game. So that is a quick overview of some of the stuff I got up to in Sequence 3. Now again, as I mentioned, I do have some gameplay of Sequence 7 coming your way, so if you guys do want to see that, then make sure you check it out on the channel, and also if you missed the gameplay that I uploaded at Gamescom, then also you can check that one down below. But for the time being, that is it for me. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are looking forward to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and as mentioned, if you want me to cover more of this when the game comes out. But aside from that, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.
I'm gonna grind your bones, lady!